Hello.
Hello, yeah. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay, good. And I'm from Brazil, and my second time speak Australian people. Yes,
Okay.
a little nervous because accent a little different about America, England, right?
It is a little different, but hopefully it won't be so different that you can't understand me.
Okay, okay, no problem. And what's your name? Sorry,
My name is Mel.
Mel. Oh, simple name is very
Um,
nice.
Yes, a
Sweet,
very simple name.
sweet name, sweet name. Mhm. It's my daughter.
Hi.
Hello.
Um, Tell me, which city do you live in Australia?
I live in Canberra. It,
Cambridge.
it's
It,
our
it's so
capital city.
it's so far Melbourne.
It's about halfway between Sydney and Melbourne.
Oh, okay, good. And tell me about it. And what do you think at the moment? New president election in USA. It's it's complicated moment. I see a lot of interview. Yeah, a little sad because for me has a lot of controversy. And because
Yes.
in my point of view, each country is need each other, right? Economic.
Hmm.
For example, Brazil, I need to England. England, I need to Africa. I guess the president have a passion for deportation, and I agree about it. Illegal immigration it causes a problem,
Hmm.
violence, and disorder, a lot of bad things. But take a breath, and I pray for everyone in the world, right? Because I see the situation, I get a little sad, human being, best
Hmm.
bad moment. I pray
Hmm.
for President American people, for him, and to be more tolerant about a lot of things. You treatment
Absolutely.
about each other human being, because
Hmm.
cause it can cause a war, trade war,
Absolutely.
yeah, it, and destroy economic, I would say, because Brazil export a lot of things,
Mm.
and Brazilian people, the deportation, it's the hands, it's in the plan. It's bad treatment. I
Right.
agree. When I said for you, Mel, I agree. Illegal and it's terrible. If I, for example, my person, I'd like a lot to pass great experience in a new country. For example, I save money for to work a little bit New Zealand, right? Because I'm a
Mm.
barber. I have a
Okay.
great experience in cut your hair or
Mhm.
haircut.
Mhm.
Man, I my dream when I begin to learn English to work a little bit in another country.
Okay.
For
Mhm.
example, New Zealand. But my point of view, and many people try to bad things. For example, illegal situation.
Mhm.
It's not good. Yeah. Yeah, Mel, I'm sorry for this conversation.
It's okay, no problem.
In the moment, is a lot of and journalists and
Mhm.
showing me
Mhm.
internet about it. And
Exactly,
what
it's everywhere at
trade,
the
yeah,
moment.
yeah, trade war
Mhm.
and deportation. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Tell me about it, your country. Do you live and do you like to live in Australia?
I do. I feel like I'm getting used to it again. I lived overseas for a very long time and have only returned in the last 18 months. And so, I'm starting to get used to living back here in my home country. Um, I do like it. It's a very uh,
It's safe.
laid.
It's
Yeah,
it's safe country.
I think so. Overall, definitely. I love Canberra. It's a very safe city and a very relaxed and open city. It's not too busy and crowded, which is
The
nice. I
climate,
prefer that. Mhm.
the climate is similar Brazil, Australia.
I've
It's
heard that it's very similar to Brazil. Yes.
it's nice. Do you know New Zealand? Do you know it's so close to Australia, right?
It's close to Australia, but it's also further south. So I think it's quite a bit colder than Australia gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cold country.
I mean, especially their winters. I think their winters are a lot colder than they are here in Australia.
Yeah, I would like to meet three countries, for example. I would like to meet New Zealand, Finland, and Australia. Yeah,
Ah, yeah.
because I love education system education in Finland,
I
and
agree. It's
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, it's brilliant. I because I love to read books, and I have a big challenge in my life when I finished my high school on years ago. Now I am degrees in university. Study Portuguese, my mother tongue, English.
Hmm.
Yeah, there is why I intend to become English teacher in Brazil. Yeah,
Wow.
I
Okay.
love English because English opened my mind.
I
Yeah,
hear that a lot from students, actually. That because it not only allows you a greater understanding of a culture, I think you understand a culture better if you know the language. But I mean, English being an international language, it
mhm,
gives you
yeah,
access to a lot more information
yeah,
that
yeah.
is perhaps not available in other languages.
I'm
Yeah.
already student to have a lot of Brazilian students.
I have a lot of Brazilian students.
Yeah, yeah. Do you like? And sorry, do you like?
I do. I enjoy hearing little bits about the country or just understanding that a little better about struggles that they might have in terms of learning English or with their pronunciation. And so, sure, it's
Yeah.
always interesting.
Yeah, I learn English alone. Just listen a lot
Mhm.
music and podcast. I love
Mhm.
TED Talks.
Oh yes, TED Talks are really good.
Yeah, climate change, mental health, and psychologists. I love
Hmm.
about a lot of topics for improve my vocabulary. And tell me, what a tip do you give me for improve my grammar? Because I study grammar for a few months. It's complicated grammar, right?
Grammar is complicated. Um, in terms of improving, certainly reading good literature helps you to see the structure.
Read books, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love. I've already read books. I speak a little bit about it. I read 48 Hours of the Power. Do you know this book?
I
40,
don't.
48 Hours of the Power. Robert Greene. It's a very power book. And now in my barber shop, another book for you. Habits, Atomic Habits. Sorry, Atomic Habits. Do you know Atomic Habits?
Atomic Habits? No, I don't.
James Clear. It's amazing book about behavior. When I change your behavior, you make. I don't know English. I forget it. For I'm sorry, routine.
Hmm.
Change your behavior. Put a good daily routine in your life. It's very book is bestseller in the world.
Okay.
Very special book. 48 Hours is very complicated book because and work in the mental health for people. I don't know
Mm.
English expression speak, for example. Uh, I don't know. Sorry, I would like to say. Uh, Wait a minute, teacher, please.
Absolutely.
Uh, Sorry. Intimidation. book. Uh,
The book is intimidating?
let's let me show you. Do you know? Can you see?
That's the cover of the book?
Yeah, 48 hours.
Power.
Yeah, 48 laws of the body. I recommend for you a very special book about it. Let me see. American. Uh, just as about the people when I read this book and get more influence for another person. About
Hmm.
leader. I don't know English.
Yes,
For
so
example,
leaders would be the ones who
yeah,
you
it's
know,
more power for a
driving the way.
conversation and big in the crowd, the people and speechless. It's great book. It's
Mhm. Okay.
helped me a lot. I read this book in English.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's big challenge for me. It's new vocabulary, new words,
Okay. Okay.
totally different. I read, for example, Alice in Wonderland. Do you know?
Hmm. I
I
do
read,
know that one.
yeah, and 48 Laws of the Power, Atomic Habits, and Jenny Austen. Do you know Jenny Austen?
I love
Yeah,
Jane Austen.
yeah. Really,
Yeah.
I read and Pride and Prejudice.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's do you like Jenny Austen?
I think I've read most of her books. I do. I really like her
I
stories.
I show you this book now. Excellent book. Chaplin, Charles
Oh, Charlie
Chaplin.
Chaplin.
Yeah,
Mm.
and on life, story of
Oh,
life is
about his life. Hmm.
this guy is a very intelligent guy. It's a great story, but in Portuguese, sorry. I
Hmm.
in English complicated to the people get this
Oh,
book,
okay.
but I in Portuguese, but excellent. And
Hmm.
when we read this book, it's a story of Charlie Chaplin,
Charlie Chaplin.
lot of and suffering when I was
Hmm.
a child. The man
Oh,
is
he was a child.
yeah, a child. Sorry,
Hmm.
very book for read, and I recommend for you if you, for example, buy in your country in English, of course.
Yeah.
Excellent book for read. It's great lesson of life. Yeah,
Okay.
great. Tell me, I love to speak about the book. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, certainly we can certainly learn a lot, not just from fiction books, but also from, these biographies and
Yeah,
autobiographies that,
yeah, yeah.
of these people and the difficulties that they've overcome in order to
Hmm. And
make themselves what they have.
yeah. For example, in Brazil and about English, few number the people speaking English. 8 year standard level is bad.
Mm.
And I intend, when I say it for you, I intend to become English teacher. My English in process. I pay a program on Cambly on years for practice my English. I'm looking for you more time, right? Yeah. Now, tell me a little bit about yourself, please.
So I grew up in Australia, out on a farm in the country, and so I had a lot of open space available to
Wow.
me.
In the farm, live in the farm?
I lived on a farm. It was
Wow.
a dairy farm at the time, so there was also a lot of responsibilities,
Yeah.
including helping with the milking and looking after the calves.
It's
I did a lot of
great air for you breathe.
perfect.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
I
fresh
love it.
air.
Yeah.
Yes. I got to ride horses. I was involved in a pony club, so I rode horses all the time. Um, yeah, but then
Great
eventually
life.
it was
Yeah.
a, I mean, it was a good
Great
childhood for
life,
sure.
simple life, essential for living, right?
Absolutely. But then, I mean, life gets complicated when you move to the city areas and you're in the busyness of work and all of
Yeah.
that. So I eventually actually moved to Kenya in East Africa.
Wow, Kenya.
Yeah, and so I was teaching there at an international school
Wow,
and
great,
ended up
great.
staying for 25 years because
Wow,
the lifestyle there it took me back to that simplicity, a simple life.
great
And
experience in your life.
absolutely.
And tell me your experience about the teacher and the class. Do you like a lot, right?
Yes, I mean, my teaching experience was quite varied because I started out as just a core teacher, a classroom teacher. I was teaching primary age students. Um, then uh, later in my career, I was working with very young children, so 4-year-olds in a preschool environment. Uh, that was more of a challenge for me than
Yeah, yeah.
than
My
I
wife is a
really
work.
like.
My wife, she's a works and teenager. I'm sorry, children at
Okay.
school. It's a
hmm
beautiful sometime, but it's very responsibility, right?
There's a lot of responsibility. Yes,
Responsibility, yeah.
absolutely.
Wow,
Absolutely.
that's great conversation.
But then I went back to school. I got my qualifications for teaching language learners or teaching English to language learners. And so I was working again in the international school with students who would come to the school with no English and they
Mhm,
needed help to
mhm.
learn in order to access their classroom studies.
Mel, in my point of view, when the people move on to work or live in another country, it's food, it's important. Food is totally different. Australia, Kenyan food, right?
Very different, yes.
When you, for example, now your experience in living in Kenya, work in Kenya, I guess Brazilian think Kenya is poor country, right?
It is, but it's also developing. I mean, of all the countries in Africa, it is actually one of the stablest. Um, there's still a huge difference between the poor and the rich, but there's beginning to be more of a middle class now in Kenya. So a lot of people are, they're educating themselves and are able to save money and educate their children, and so they're becoming, um, it's becoming much more economically viable to live a decent life there. Um,
And yeah, about skin color, you in Kenya, the people is black, right?
yes, so the majority, because it was also colonized by the British for a time, and they're referred to as British Kenyans. So they're definitely citizens of Kenya, but fully white. But they are the minority. The majority of Kenyans there are African Kenyans, but there's also quite a large Indian Kenyan population
Wow.
because people from India were brought across to Kenya to help build the railway line. And
Mm-hmm.
so once they finished, then they stayed. And a lot of those families are the ones that are involved in trade. They're the shop owners and the business
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
When you said for me, Indian people has a lot of countries, has a lot of Indian people. Indian people when they speak English accent, terrible for understand.
I find it really hard accent to understand.
Yeah. About
Yeah.
accent, Brazilian accent, Brazilian for you, it's nice to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Brazilian accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people or some teacher say Brazilian people when speak English looks like the singer, right?
Yes, it is. It's very rhythmic. And I think that's part
Uh,
of the appeal because it sounds just so lyrical. Mhm.
yeah, I live in Brazil, Northeast. There is name
Okay.
for me.
Hmm.
Northeast, you understand?
Hmm.
Yeah, has a lot of beach,
Okay.
delicious food, right?
Hmm.
Um, a lot of beautiful nature,
Okay.
nature, sorry,
Hmm.
and beautiful landscape. But I guess has everywhere a little corruption. Y- Yeah, everywhere has the same problem.
I know nobody is free from corruption.
Yeah, yeah. And for example, I ask for you a simple question. If I have condition to work in New Zealand in barber shop, my English, everything okay for communication with people?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
my dream teacher and work a little bit in the abroad. Just
Hmm.
few time. Improve my English, of course.
Hmm.
I guess earn a little money in another coin.
Hmm.
But I will to be fight my life, save money for study abroad.
Hmm.
No, it's no easier, but I will try.
Right. And
Yeah,
that would be a brilliant occupation for developing your language too, because you're constantly having customers come in and chatting with them while you're doing
yeah,
their
yeah,
hair. Um, so it's not like you would go and live in another country, which I hear about a lot of people going and living in another country, and then they just find the community there of their own people from their own country, and so they continue to speak Portuguese instead
yeah.
of
Every
taking that
time.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Brazil, for example, in my most part of the time in my life, I listen. When I go to work, I listen to music.
Mhm.
When I go back, I study a little bit in my class and university. Portuguese, of course, a little bit.
Mhm.
But listen to music podcast, I love it. And 60 minutes Australian, you know, 6 minutes.
Oh, 60 Minutes, the current events
It's
show?
great journalist, a
Yes.
lot of interview, beautiful, great interview,
Mhm.
and singer, entrepreneur, and business, a lot of things.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, when I speak English, my brain it's freaking out. Yeah, it looks like it changed my behavior. I don't know. I guess more polite when I speak English
Oh,
because I use
interesting.
because I use another words in my small town. The people
Mhm.
very delayed and about education, right? I
Mhm.
feel a little strange. I listen a lot of bullshit with people. Yeah, yeah, I have a patient, but when I speak English with a teacher or another person in another country, great conversation about book, music, technology.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
feel better my life. Yeah,
Right. It's like it's a whole different personality. You have an English personality and a Portuguese
yeah,
personality.
totally different, totally different. And it's amazing, amazing. And how many countries do you visit? Or how many countries?
Oh, I don't know. 20 at least, I would say. Um, Most of the places I've been to have been either in Europe or in Africa, uh, and
Do
a
you
few
know?
in North America.
Do you know Italy?
I've been to Italy, yes.
Wow, it's very
It's a
beautiful.
beautiful place, yes.
Looks like a romantic, right? Right.
Yes, I mean, where I said Florence, I went to Florence in Italy, and oh, it was one of the most amazing cities that I've been to. Just incredible. And then into the Tuscany area. We also went to Pisa and saw the Leaning Tower. So I feel like
When you to visit this country, do you speak English? Because I guess Europe has a lot of people speak English. Europe.
yes, I'm very fortunate in that. In most places that I've been, we've been able to find somebody who can speak English enough to us to be able to communicate. Um, yes. I mean, in Italy, our host was actually French, and my
How
my
many? Sorry, how many languages you speak? Then sorry.
I I I speak a little, like a tiny little bit of Kiswahili because of my time in Kenya, but their one of their national languages is also English, and so you don't have to speak another language in order
Mhm.
to function there, which makes learning a language difficult. When you don't have to use it,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
harder to stay motivated to
I
try.
agree. To
Yeah,
learn another language has a lot of effort.
it does. It
People.
does. Takes a
But for
lot.
me, English and my passion when was a kid, I would like to speak a
Mhm.
little bit English because when I influence American culture.
Mhm.
But I like more, I like American people, right? But some behavior for me a little strange. Some.
I
But it's
agree.
depend each person. I guess it's depend each person.
You're
I,
right. I mean, you really can't do that blanket. All Americans are this way,
yeah,
or all New Zealanders are this way.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
very individualistic.
Because in Brazil, as Latin America, the people is more hot and friendly, a lot of
Mhm,
conversation.
mhm, mhm.
I guess another part is the people more reservation.
Oh, okay, they're more
Yeah,
reserved.
it's
Mm,
different for us here, American Latin. Some
mhm,
people don't like, but I intend this behavior because each country has their own behavior. Brazilian, it's a lot of like a lot of party, dance,
mhm, mhm.
conversation, speak aloud. Another country, for example, in Finland, the shock Brazilian and Finland people is totally different, right?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I guess for me it's normal because English in my mind I comprehension about it, some behavior of the people, but another
Mhm.
Brazilian is complicated for comprehension. Uh,
Right.
in my point of view, it's important for example, respect the people, your behavior. For example,
Absolutely.
when you visit your country, I'm Brazilian. When I visit another country, I have a good behavior, respect the culture, the
Mhm,
people,
mhm.
right, teacher? You agree with me?
Absolutely, because I think we need to remember that we're visiting their country, and so the responsibility is on us to treat them with respect and to recognize I am a visitor here. And even if things are done differently to the way you might do them back home, you need to have that bring that. But this is how they do it here, and I'm going to go along with this is how it works here, rather than get frustrated
Yeah.
or bossy or angry about the
For
system.
example, teacher, when I start to my class here in the West, when I take the bus, right? And because I study another city,
Mhm.
it's close to there. Another student in the bus don't speak with me for 3 months. I feel so frustrated because it's living with the same city, but don't speak with me. I
Mhm.
compare with for example, living in another country. I compare the same. I for me it's okay. I relax. But now the people start conversation with me.
Mhm.
It's normal. It's normal. Teacher, the time go fast.
It does
Great
go very fast.
conversation. Thanks a lot for helping me. Right.
No, thank you. I really enjoyed the conversation. You express yourself so very well.
Me too. Oh, great. I looking for you again. Right.
Okay.